let's talk about some of the misinformation and disinformation about what uh, what a nuclear exchange or nuclear Armageddon would mean. Now, I'm going to take this on the point of say a billionaire. All right, let's say I'm a billionaire and I'm worth $50 billion. All right, I got nuclear bunkers all over the place, right? To try to guarantee my survival and those whom I want to bring along. Okay, so uh, here's the thing. Uh, by the time you hear the sirens and the broadcast that there's or a radio or electronic message that nuclear uh, missiles are coming at you. Unless I am 15 minutes or less away from my nearest nuclear bunker, guess what? That's endgame. The nuclear weapons the intercontinental ballistic missiles, okay, nuclear armed intercontinental ballistic missile can travel between 20 and 30,000 miles per hour. All right, so let's go with a low end. All right, that's between the low and let's go from the between the low and the high end. Okay, so let's average that out to 20 minutes. All right, because that's what it basically comes down to. 20 minutes is what you have to get your ass into a bunker. Guess what? First, if you get a message, right, that and warning that you're going to be that there's going to be a nuclear missile attack, guess what? As I said, unless I'm 15 minutes or less away from my nearest nuclear bunker, my ass is done. My ass is done. And the thing is you won't get the warning until it's too late. Okay? And as I said, unless I'm 15 minutes or less, okay? And that means how close am I to getting to my nearest helicopter or plane? Okay, or how close am I to how quickly can I get a helicopter? Okay, or a plane to my location? Because you're certainly not going to go on the roads, because at that point there's going to be mass panic. People are going to be trying to get out of the area. So you're going to have massive roadblocks. The mass transit in the U.S., which is almost non-existent in comparison to say like China. All right. But I'm a billionaire, so I can get a helicopter. Well. How quickly can I get that helicopter to respond? Am I close enough to get a helicopter to respond? Right? Will a pilot be willing? Okay. So there's just so many things. More than likely, I'm going to be somewhere that I'm not going to be close enough to one of my dozens of nuclear bunkers. All right. So let's face it. And if I'm in the air, over, Dee, get in the yard. And if I'm in the air in my own private jet, and I'm hundreds, if not thousands, of miles away from my one of my nuclear bunkers, it's meaningless. It's absolutely meaningless. Dee, in the yard now. So the idea that I spent hundreds of millions on bunkers, right, nuclear bunkers, keeping them prepared and so on and so forth, and you know you can't predict, you can't predict, and by the time you get the warning, it's basically too late. It's basically too late. So so there goes all the money all the tens of billions of dollars I'm worth, right? It's become useless. All the hundreds of millions I've spent on nuclear bunkers, completely useless. It's so this is why it's mind-boggling to me. Absolutely mind-boggling that you got Nancy Pelosi going to China and basically advocating and acknowledging the secessionists in Taiwan, which is a minority. The DPP government in Taiwan is a minority in Taiwan who want against the majority who want have a separate is on a separatist movement of secession. That's what it comes down to. They're propped up. They're propped up by the decades of arms being sent to them. Okay, from the U.S. and from the Europeans. Okay, that's basically what it comes down to. They get support from Japan and South Korea and the U.S., but they don't really have the support in Taiwan. They are a minority. They may. I think I've been hearing the figures of something like 30% or less. I think it's like less than 30% in Taiwan who back them, who are separatists. Okay, and something I just found out, and I guess this is in the Chinese Constitution. I mean, not the Chinese, but the Taiwanese Constitution. And basically, the Taiwanese Constitution basically states that they believe that all of the mainland China is theirs to rule, as well as Mongolia, as well as sections of north east of North Korea, of the Korean Peninsula, and and China is also their territory, and as well as a lot of the archipelagos and islands in the East and South China Seas. And I think even I'm not sure about this, but I think I remember him seeing that they also believe that Southeast Asia, which is Cambodia, Thailand, Myanmar, and Vietnam, and Laos, and they also belong to the ROC, which is the Republic of China, not the PRC, which is the People's Republic of China. So it's utter insanity what they believe. So what the U.S. is encouraging by sending Pelosi, and Pelosi is inviting more people in the Congress to join her. DD, stay in the yard. So and then you have the UK, and then there's other European countries who are basically uh, spouting, toting the line, the narratives about China, and basically uh, to seeking to start a war with China. Of course, they bow down to their overlords in the U.S., and the overlords are basically your. But I don't think people understand that the overlords of Europe and the overlords that are over them in the U.S. are your big corporations. They're your they're the ones in the financial sector and the commodities and energy and chemical and pharmacological and all and the ones that have the stranglehold on the agricultural and agricultural uh, commodities. So so you have banking and all. You get the picture. But basically, what you're declaring is what this trip by Pelosi is declaring is they're declaring that China's secessionists, Taiwan secessionists, are being acknowledged, breaking away from the one China policy that the U.S. has agreed to 3 times, and also the UN acknowledges the PRC is the legitimate government of Taiwan and China. So you're basically declaring de facto sovereignty of Taiwan as a country. And the Chinese have basically said that is a bright, glowing red line for them. And it should be. And so, there's the Rand Corporation paper, which was asked by the State Department and the Pentagon. A paper that the Rand Corporation wrote, and basically, in that paper, it reads that if the U.S. and the elites in Europe want to stop China's economic, military, technological rise, and to help collapse the Chinese rise, then they need to start a conventional war with China, and the deadline for that is 2025. Okay, so Pelosi going to Taiwan, and I haven't been able to verify it, but there's been a couple of channels I pay attention to that said Pelosi's already on the plane, making her way there. So, and with the strong, very strong statements from China, this basically is saying that hey, we know you're looking to start a hot kinetic war with us, and this is a provocation, the last provocation, and that if you do carry this out, we will have strong measures. The strongest measures against you, and you even have Chinese PLA military officers and basically coming out and saying, "Hey, you want to fight? We'll give it to you." And here's the thing: is like a lot of people don't understand that Both China and Russia have stated over and over again, and I know this for a fact because I do watch Chinese media, because I do pay attention to what the Russians are saying, and they both have come to say that we will never use nuclear weapons unless you use them on us, and if that's the case, we will retaliate. And so, and the thing is you have to understand, China already has the capacity to use conventional weapons and reach the continental U.S. Okay? They have conventional means to reach the continental U.S. All right? And then there's, of course, something like, I think, 20, 20, military, oh crap, I can't think of the word, but basically they did this military game with computers and other stuff and statistics, of going to war with China, and each time the U.S. lost miserably. They completely and utterly failed. And this is through the Pentagon itself doing this analysis. And so, why then would you do this? Why then would you do this? And I do pay attention to what the Chinese media and what the Chinese government says, and what their military leadership says. I'm not an expert, but I do pay attention enough, and I'm intelligent enough, and I'm smart enough to understand these things. I may not understand it perfectly, but I understand enough to understand that it's insanity. It's absolute insanity. So if there's nuclear Armageddon, it won't be because of China, it won't be because of Russia. It will be because of the U.S. and the West. Understand that the U.S. has nuclear weapons all over the place. In Western Europe, in parts of Eastern Europe, they have nuclear weapons in the Pacific. And the U.S. is the only one that's ever used nuclear weapons. The only country. They even had back in the, I think it was like the late 40s. I think if I remember correctly, the late 40s or mid 40s, the U.S. had nuclear weapons on Taiwan pointed at China. And then you have all these so-called retired and current military officers, including generals, talking about using tactical nuclear weapons and how they should use them on Russia and how they shouldn't use them on China. And the U.S. has had a first-use doctrine of nuclear weapons. God, I can't. But they've had it for over 50 years. I mean, they've had them. Yeah, they've had them for over 50 years. This doctrine. So, China's not talking about using nuclear weapons. China's not talking about using nuclear weapons, and Russia has stated over and over again that they will only use it in response to nuclear weapons being sent their way. And the Russians are consistent about that. The Chinese are consistent about that. Whereas the Europeans and the U.S., nuclear weapons would be horrible, but hey, we can use tactical nuclear weapons. Or they'll talk about winning a nuclear war. It was like, and then saying, oh no, but that it's dangerous because it's there's no consistency. There's no consistency. It's like with every policy they put out, right? Every agreement they make, they show all these things, and then then basically they debunk themselves with the hostile aggression that they spout. And of course, the U.S. media and the Western media does this constantly. So the point to all this is that there's only one bad guy in the scenario, and that is the U.S. and that is the Europeans. They're and I'm not talking about the average Europeans or the average U.S. citizen. I'm talking about those who've been so-called, quote unquote, elected. I mean, just look at what's happening in the Netherlands. With the farmers blocking entire highways and other roadways with piles of manure, stopping all good transfer of goods and everything else, and then basically saying that we've had enough. You're not going to take our farmlands. You're not going to give them away to the globalists who want to control everything. And I look at what they're doing there as nothing more than trying to bring back feudal rule. So, but that's a process that's been happening in the U.S. And it's getting ratcheted up even further. And I have no doubts that they're going to do similar things like the Dutch did in the U.S. They're just going to be more overtly blunt about what their intentions. Just like it's happening in Canada, and Canada's siding with the Dutch farmers as well as the Dutch themselves. It's happening. Similar shit is happening in the UK and other European countries. It's happening in Australia. I was like, and people of the West have to take direct action. They have to take examples from the Dutch, and from others who rise up. Just like how the Indian farmers, 230 million or more, came out because basically, oh God, I can't think of that asshole's name, the one that runs India, but they're basically they did that before the Dutch did, because the Indians were trying to do the same thing, sell off the farming and basically all the food production and everything else, and give it to the hands of the wealthy who want to be feudal lords again. And so and all of this is doing. And so you have these insane psychopaths who are doing things that will cause at least at the minimum a global conflict. A global conflict that's going to destroy the ability of billions upon billions, and irregardless of what country you're from, what ethnicity you are, what color of skin or the shape of your eyes are. That's what these psychopaths are seeking. And so, if you don't stand up if you don't stand up, and I'm not talking about protesting, and while you're protesting, the cops, the enforcers for the ruling class, these armed thugs, come in, and snatch away your banners and basically tell you to shut up and sit down, and or they go tackling you, like 4 or 5 of these cops are tackling one person. And incidentally, I keep on trying to point this out. Why the hell do you have a protest? Why are you doing all these things? And then when the cops roll in, and you got a group of like 12 or maybe 20 cops, and they're brutalizing people in your protest, and you just stand there and you outnumber them, and you just stand there and take or you say, oh, you wag your finger at them, and you spout your slogans and everything else. Meanwhile, these people are being brutalized, and you can't do more than just maybe getting into their face a little and saying, "Come on." That's the reason why they do it, because they know you're not going to do more than that. So what the hell's the use? That's why I don't do protests. If I was at one of those, I am guaranteed that none of the others with me, when I'm beaten, getting my ass handed to me, right? I'm guaranteed that none of you are going to step in to try to stop it. Not by putting yourself in the middle of it. Not by you should be coming at them as a mass and beating them down, so they get the point that, hey, we've had enough of this shit, and we don't view you as being part of the solidarity of the community. We view you as the enemy, right? But they know that you won't do shit. You won't do jack shit. You'll take it like the bitches you are, because they know that you don't know how to respond properly. They know that you won't lift a finger. You won't lift a finger. You won't do anything to stop them, and that's why they keep doing it. Because they know you'll cow down to them. They know you will back down. They know that other than saying meaningless stuff to them, okay, or even throwing coffee or cold drinks. Come on, get serious. Get serious. Really? You want to show these assholes, these criminal thugs, these fucking mafia enforcers, because that's what they are. They're not cops. They're not keeping law and order. Okay? They're thugs. They're mafia thugs, enforcers. And when you allow them to do it, and when you go in front of and you're arrested, you go in front of a judge, and the judge says, well, you broke the law. Or, and because the so-called prosecutor says this, come on, what are you going to do? What is the use of getting arrested? Where was the law? Where was the law to stop the stuff that you went out there to protest about? What are you doing other than saying, I'm whining, I'm bitching. You know what the Dutch farmers, what the Indian farmers did? That's direct action. That that made them think. That forced them, these criminals, to think. All right, the Indians are back out again because the Modi of India hasn't learned his lesson. Right? The Indians escalated when Modi escalated. The Dutch and others are escalating because their criminal order was escalating. And that's what we need to do. That's what I mean by force. You escalate. You know, it's amazing to me that only 28% of Americans understand the criminality that is the government, and that's state, your local to state and the federal, okay? Only 28%. And that is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. That you can't understand. That you won't understand. You won't get it. You refused. You're willfully refusing to get it. When all the signs are out there, when every indication tells you that these people, these criminals are literally picking your pockets. And they're taking the lint as well. They're destroying your health. By the way, they allow for the so-called food manufacturers to poison you. These drug manufacturers to poison you. How the regulations are supposed to nurture the natural world so that we have a safe environment, so that we have clean soil to grow stuff, to feed us, okay, to give us clean air, because plants, especially trees and other larger plants, actually take more carbon dioxide out of the air. How they're polluting your water, how they're polluting the air, how they're polluting your plants, your animals, your food stuff, everything. And yet, you go on, you be good little boys and girls, and going out there and protesting with, ooh, is going to make a fucking difference. It doesn't. Especially when you're out there in numbers and you allow them to fucking corral you. You allow them to beat you. You allow them to force you to, in mocked ways. You're all a bunch of fucking chumps. You're all fucking cowards. You have no values. You have no standards. You don't care about your family. You don't care about your community. You don't care about your children. Because if you understood it, then you would be saying, look, we've had enough of this. And if you don't fucking back down, if you don't fucking get out of there, then we will go violent on you. As you've been violent with us. Because you're violent in every fucking way, shape, and manner. How many fucking times are you going to accept their wrongs, huh? How many times have your children done something that they shouldn't do, right? And you talk to them, right? And most people talk or do something to try to correct that, right? And most people get results, right? And the children that listen to right critical thinking, all right, of their parents, try to correct what they do. Why is it that people like Pelosi, like Trump, like Biden, like Clinton, like Bush, Nixon, basically every fucking president we've ever had, basically the vast majority of these so-called people in government from your local. It's like, come on. How many fucking times do you need to have the police come fucking bash your head in? Or shoot you and claim that you had a gun? Or claim that you were selling drugs? Or claim that you had a knife? Right? How many fucking times do you need to have this done? It's always been, if they're willing to use it on people that are not white, right? How many times do you think it's happened to people that are actually white, but you haven't heard about it? But because you have YouTube and others, you've actually seen an increase in white people getting the same shit, although a lot of times less lethal and final. But still, you're getting brutalized. I mean, how many parents are going to go look for handouts to get their children treated for tumors or whatever, right? That's bankrupting you. How many of those stories are you gonna hear? And say, oh, and basically what that is saying you need to rely on the compassion and empathy of your fellow citizens. Why are we allowing this to happen? Why isn't that energy being turned towards, hey, these assholes are the ones creating these problems. These assholes are the ones that are giving my kids tumors, that are increasing my kids' autism. That are increasing our use of drugs, that are increasing the levels of pedophilia. How long? What is going to take? Does it need to be does it need to be 80% of us that gets it so bad that we finally have to, oh shit. They were right the whole time. But the thing is, you know that that's not the case. Because already there's 80% of us feeling it. We're feeling it in our finances. We're feeling it in our social community. In our mental, in our emotional. I mean, how many fucking shootings in schools do we need to see? How many times do we need to litigate the rights to a woman's control over her body? How many times do we have to litigate about the equality that everybody's supposed to have, but it doesn't actually happen? How many times do we need to hear about these corporations polluting our waters, polluting the environment? How many times? When will you stand up? When will you be angry and outraged for us as a collective? When will you stand up as a collective and be as outraged, be as angry as I am? And rightfully so. You don't protect your children, you don't protect your family, you don't protect your community, and you certainly don't protect the health of the environment, which sustains us, by allowing them to continue doing stuff that you would not accept in your own, for yourself or for your family or your community. And the fact that the United States has more prisoners than China, okay, which has between 1.4 and 1.5 billion people. All right, the fact that we have a much larger prison population, and the overwhelming majority of them is for non-violent so-called offenses. We accept sending people for fucking 25 to a life for because you've been caught 3 times with weed, and yet the people who have made it possible to kill millions through financial sanctions, through economic sanctions, through sending weapons and our military everywhere, and getting other assholes, criminal assholes, in power to get. And not only that, but they're killing they're sending your fellow Americans, your fellow French, your fellow British, your fellow Australians to go and fucking die and kill, so that when they come back, they're traumatized, and they end up killing themselves, or they can't function, so that they're living on the streets. Come on. Where is the solidarity? Where is the community? Where is the equality? Where is the patriotism that should state that we understand collectively that we make up the country, that we are the engine, we are the backbone, we are the foundation, that we are the ones that produce, that we are the ones that innovate, that we are the ones that drive things. Where is that? Our education system is tanking. We got more and more young kids committing suicide or having overdoses or dropping out and having. Where is it? Wake up.